Hey guys, this is Smithy. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is so very special. This is one of the biggest videos that I'm gonna record for this year. Today, we're gonna talk about my best makeup for 2024. I have a mix of high-end as well as drugstore, so there's definitely something for you. So if you're ready to see what were my top favorite from the year, please keep on watching. Let's start off with primers. Primers, I feel like majority of the primers that I absolutely love for 2024 were from drugstore. I have one favorite from the high-end category too, but it is like a repeated favorite from last year. Okay, so let's start off with drugstore favorites. My number one favorite, it came towards the end of the year, I would say, but I have constantly non-stop used, is the Milani Conceal Perfect Blur Out Smoothing Primer. And you can see the texture of this. It's so puffy. It's very gel-like. It's very putty-like. It's unlike anything else that I've ever used on my skin. It has that cooling sensation, but the way it blurs out the skin. This is a primer that I'm wearing today, and I will pop some clips throughout the video because I did my makeup with all my favorite products. I love this product. I cannot recommend this enough. Yes, Milani is a drugstore brand, but I feel like it competes with some of the high-end products that we have in the makeup industry. So I definitely want to recommend this. Two pore filling primer again from drugstore, I would say, is the Wet n Wild Impossible Primer and the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. Both of them does the same thing for me. Consistency is very different. This, I feel like it's more like jelly and more like puffy kind of a consistency. Very equivalent to the consistency that we have here in the Milani primer, but it is more on the tube format. I definitely would travel with this more, but I love the way how all of these perform on the skin, and Liquid Poreless Putty Primer has been a favorite since years and years. I feel like this is such a beautiful product that e.l.f. has created, and I definitely can see this repurchasing this constantly throughout the years in my collection. So I definitely wanted to talk about that too. From the high end, if I'm looking for a glow to my skin, I definitely reach out for this product. Underneath the foundation, on top of the foundation, it performs absolutely wonderfully. And I'm talking about the Saie Super Gel Primer. I also use it as a liquid highlighter. This one is in the shade Star Glow. This is such an amazing product. For my light makeup days, I definitely reach out for this product. I absolutely 100% would recommend this. I had a smaller bottle too of this, and I repurchased a bigger version of it, and I absolutely love it. Definitely would recommend. So those were the primers. Now let's move on to the foundation. There was a foundation that absolutely stood out to me for 2024. I have already repurchased the second bottle of this, and this is the Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Skin Tint with vitamin C in it. This is such a beautiful product, you guys. I have bought so many foundations in my collection, but I constantly reach out for this. I am in the shade 322, and this just works perfectly throughout the year. This is the foundation that I'm wearing on my skin, and you can see how effortlessly it blends on the skin. It definitely gives more of a medium buildable coverage, and the way it sits on the skin, the way it lasts on the skin is absolutely commendable. I cannot recommend this product enough. It is an absolute necessity in my opinion. I do like the L'Oreal skin tint too, but I have grown to love this more than that. I really love both of them, but I feel like you don't need to step out to Sephora to get a good foundation. You definitely can get it in drugstore. My high-end foundation favorite, I would say, is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Sheer Longwear Makeup. And I have used this so much. I don't even know if you can see it or not. It's definitely more than half gone. It is absolutely beautiful product. Again, it's very thin. I love the packaging. It's a squeezy tube. You can travel with it easily. It's very lightweight, but it gives you that 1 fluid ounce of product, and I absolutely would recommend this. If I have to pick one, I would still pick the Maybelline one. Let's move on to concealers. And one color corrector. This is a color corrector that I have used all throughout the year. Let me show you how much. I am done. I am absolutely done, and it looks so disgusting. This is the Ole Henrickson Banana Bright CC stick, and I use mine in the shade Apricot. I constantly wear this product underneath the eyes, especially when I see that I have like dark circles growing. I absolutely can put this one layer underneath my skin and feel myself. I absolutely love that product. Now let's move on to the concealers. From the concealer category, I have one Highend and one Drugstore. From the Drugstore, NYX Bare With Me Concealer Serum is what I actually ventured into this year, and I have fell in love with this. I am in the shade Light Tan, and this is my perfect shade. I use very little bit because it's more of a creamier texture. I just need a little bit and it just works beautifully on my skin. From the high-end category, it's my constant favorite. This is Lancome Tint Idole Concealer, and I am in the shade Bisque Warm. This is definitely a warmer shade on me, but I absolutely love it. Another product that I've completely utilized was the Tower 28 Concealer. It was in my yearly favorites for last year also. That's why I did not include it right now. But these two, definitely my yearly favorites. Let's move on to powder. I have a pressed powder and a loose setting powder. I don't think it will be a surprise to anybody. Huda Beauty's loose setting powder, especially in the shade Peach Pie. This, I use it every single day of my life. It blurs out my skin like no other. I am a person who has a lot of texture on my skin, and this performs absolutely wonderfully. Even if I'm not going for all over face powdering, I do use that powder always on the center of my face just to blur it out. Another pressed powder that works very well, but it is so beautiful in consistency, was this Florasis Flawless Jade Breathable Pressed Powder. This is the baked version of it. You can wear it underneath the eyes, all throughout your face. Again, it blurs out. It gives you like a soft filter on your skin, and I have constantly worn this. These are the products that stay right on my vanity, so I definitely had to recommend this. Okay, let's move on to bronzers. I have two cream bronzers and one powder bronzer. From the cream bronzer category that I tried in 2024, these two definitely were my favorite. Rare Beauty bronzer stick and the Merit bronzer stick. Both of them are so beautifully blendable. In the Rare Beauty one, I'm in the shade Always Sunny. That is what I have on my skin today. It's more warm. It gives me like a bronzed effect on the skin. And in Merit, I use the shade Leo. And Leo is more of like a contouring shade. Actually not. It is more, both of them are like more of a bronzing shade. Let me compare it to you guys. Very comparable, I would say. Merit is definitely more on the glowy side, whereas the Rare Beauty stick is definitely more like creamy and it blends to a matte finish. There you go. That's Merit and that's Rare Beauty. It performs beautifully on the skin. So once I blend it, you'll see Merit definitely has that sheen, but Rare Beauty dries down to a matte finish. So those were my top products from the high-end category for bronzer. For powder bronzer, this is not a new product by any means, but I couldn't just stop using this because this performs like a high-end product, and it is from Loreal. And this is the Infallible Fresh Wear Bronzer. I have mine in the shade medium. I have a huge dent, and I have hardly reached out for any other bronzer. You can see the dip that is happening in this product. It's such a beautiful product and such high quality product. Would highly recommend this. This is like a hidden gem. I know a lot of people were raving about it, but now I've hardly heard like anybody raving about it, but I really love it. Okay, let's talk about blushes. I feel like this was a year for blushes. I have so many in my collection. I definitely could not like just say one from high-end, one from Drugstore, because I have several. Let's start off with liquid blushes. The standout product, in the liquid blush category, was these from Glaminatrix. I absolutely love each and every shade that they have come out with. I have mine in the shade Sunny, which is more peachy. Gentle is the one that I am wearing today, mixed with the shade Lavish. And Lavish is more like a pinky brown shade. Lavish is definitely my most used shade, but these are like my top favorites, I would say. I have all 5 shades with me, and it was gifted to me in PR, and I have used these blushes every single week after I received them. That's how much I love them. And it's close to an year that I've been using it, and I do not get tired of this. Such an amazing quality product. Would 100% recommend it. Okay, now let's move on to cream blushes. I have a few. I have a few from the Highend. This is more of like a face cheek trio, the Natasha Denona My Dream Cheek Trio. I purchased this year, but I have constantly dipped into this blush, so I definitely wanted to talk about it because this is definitely like my most used mauvey creamy blush that I have in my collection. Would highly recommend this. But if you're only talking about blushes, I have another product from Apricot, and this is the Apricot blush in the shade Not Too Much. Again, a very everyday shade in my opinion. I absolutely love these shades, and it is so beautiful. This is a little bit more on the lighter side, especially when I am tan, but in my winter months I can definitely rock this. But I absolutely love the shade of this. Other cream blush that I have absolutely worn so much from Highend is from Merit, and this specific shade in the shade Fox. It is so pretty. I don't even know why do I still see a dome, because I use this so much, and this shade is just so beautiful. Like, look at that shade. So yummy for every day. It is so pretty. It's not sticky on your skin or anything. It blends like a dream, but as soon as you like melt it into your skin, it sets down, and it is so wearable on the skin. I absolutely love that shade Fox. From the Drugstore, I would highly recommend this Milani Cheek Kiss blushes. I have two, one in the shade Nude Kiss, and the other one is in the shade Merlot Moment. This is Nude Kiss, this is Merlot Moment. Both of them amazing shades, amazing shades. Merlot Moment is definitely more of like a reddy berry shade, and this is more of like a nudie pink shade. Absolutely would recommend this. It's very thin formulation, but the way it blends on the skin is so beautiful. Let me show it to you. That's Nude Kiss, and this is Merlot Moment. There you go, Nude Kiss, Merlot Moment. Nude Kiss, Merlot Moment. Hope you can see that. Very pretty. Now let's move on to powder blushes. Again, I have a lot to talk about. Let's start off with high-end product. In the earlier part of the year, I feel like I use this constantly. This is from Too Faced. This is the Cloud Crush Blurring Blush in the shade Velvet Crush. This is such a beautiful everyday shade for me. It's very much like a powder formation of that Apricot blush that I showed you. And this actually blurs out my skin. I absolutely love this shade, and the formula would highly recommend this. And the packaging is so beautiful. It looks like a macaroon. I absolutely love it. And the second high-end blush that I wanted to recommend is from Haus Labs, and this one is in the shade French Rosette. It's pigmented. You just need a very tiny bit. It's more like, I would say it's more on like a corally pink side, and I absolutely love to wear this with like my warmer tone looks. I absolutely love it. This is another formula that absolutely blurs out my skin texture. Would highly recommend it. From the indie brand, I have two brands to recommend for blushes. One is Ensley Rain. Specifically, these two blushes I absolutely love. This is from Lighten Your Eyes collection. This one. It's a very everyday friendly, like a pinky brown shade. 100% would recommend it. Very blurring on the skin, but also very pigmented. So a very little bit would like go a very long way. And this is from the Flutter collection. This is such a beautiful peachy blush. Again, would highly recommend it. Ensley Rain's everything is magnetized, so you can plop it out and put it in your magnetic palette too. Very beautiful. And then the second brand that I want to recommend is Menagerie Cosmetics. They came out with these Arthurine blushes, and I have two shades with me that I would specifically like recommend. So these are the two shades. The peachy one is more the shade Clementine, and this like pinky brown shade is Cocoa Bear. Both of them so wearable for every day. I absolutely love the formula too. The way it blends on the skin is so beautiful. Would highly recommend it. And these blushes are like $9 or something. I love it. Absolutely love it. So now that we have finished with the blush category, let's move on to highlighters. I have two highlighters to recommend, one from Drugstore and one from Highend. Both of them were my yearly favorites for last year and I cannot recommend them enough. From the high-end category is Rare Beauty highlighter. I had the shade Mesmerize for last year. This year I purchased the shade Flaunt, and look at the way it performs. This is the highlighter that I'm wearing on my skin and it works so beautifully, so effortlessly on the skin. I absolutely love this shade. And then from the Drugstore category, I want to recommend Revlon skin lighters, and this one is in the shade Daybreak Glimmer. Such a beautiful smooth highlighter. The way it performs is so stunning. I'm going to just blend it so that you can see how it performs in a blended way. So pretty. Let me also swatch Flaunt so that you can see that too on my skin, and that is Flaunt. So that's Flaunt, that's Daybreak Glimmer. And you can see the way it smooths on your skin is so pretty. There's no flecks of glitter in any of these highlighter. I'm a person who does not like glittery highlighter on my face. I like a good smooth highlighter so that it doesn't emphasize my texture, and these two definitely are very smooth. Okay, now I have to recommend face palettes. Like in this whole year, I feel like I constantly went to these three palettes. Two of them are older favorites. One of them is a new favorite. Older favorite from last year, the Snake palette from Hourglass. I would highly recommend this. If you can find this palette anywhere for medium tan skin tone, this is such an amazing product to have in your collection. I feel like this performs so beautifully and it's such a sturdy packaging too. I love it. The next product, the next face palette that I'm going to recommend, I've traveled with this so very much. I definitely, if it's like a weekend getaway, this is the palette that's coming with me because I don't have to pack any other like eyeshadow palettes or like face products, because this does it for me. And this is from Natasha Denona. This is the Glam Iron Face Palette. Again, such a beautiful palette. I absolutely wear every single product that is here. This is the darker version and this is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Would highly recommend this. If you can find it in a sale price, you will use this so very much. I love it. And from the indie brand, the face palette that I am going to recommend is from Simply Posh Cosmetics, and this is the Cozy Up face palette. This is on a sale right now on their website. This is such a beautiful palette, such a beautiful palette. These highlighters are very smooth. Apart from those two highlighters that I mentioned, if I was wearing any other highlighter, it was this. It is such a smooth formula, and these blushes are so pigmented. You can mix and match. The way it blends on the skin is so very nice. Would definitely recommend this from Simply Posh Cosmetics. I do have a code with Simply Posh Cosmetics. It is the code Smithy to save you 10% off. Okay, now let's talk about setting sprays. I have two setting sprays from Highend. It was a favorite from my last year also. It's continuing this year too. It's the Benefit Professional Super Setter as well as the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. This, I'm almost out of it. Like I might be here. And Professional setting spray, I had like some travel bottles too, which I actually filled this because I was halfway there. So this is like full. So that is from Highend, and from the Drugstore, 100% would recommend this Morphe setting spray. I love the way how the sprayer is, and the way it sprays is such a fine mist. Would highly recommend this. Look at that. Love it. Love the way how it performs. Okay, now let's move on to brow. Again, these are on my constant rotation. Benefit Precisely My Brow in the shade 4.5, L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer, which is in the shade Dark Brunette, and Maybelline Express Brow Pencil, which is in the shade Deep Brown. I am wearing Maybelline today, but these are the three brow products that I constantly rotate in my collection, and I don't think you need to spend anything more than what you spend for these. Like, I generally do buy Benefit Precisely My Brow only in Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty, and which makes it like the same price as these brow pencils too. And these are my 3 brow pencil brands that I absolutely love and adore, and I don't see myself like dipping into any other brands for my brow pencil because they perform beautifully. Let's talk eye pencils too. I feel like there are 3 brands that I completely reach out for eye pencils. One is from Essence definitely does some of my favorite eye pencils. If you've not tried Essence for your eye pencils, you need to, and you will not go back, because this is like couple of bucks. I have a nude with me, I have a brown, and I have a black. All 3 perform so beautifully. It never budges. I am a crier, and it just stays put throughout the day. I would highly recommend this. Then the other shade that I constantly utilize was this Melt eye pencil, and this one is in the shade Rich Brown. Such a beautiful burgundy shade. Absolutely would love this. And the third brand that I would recommend is from Hindash, and you've seen me wear this eye pencil so many times. This one is in the shade Intra. This is more like a, how would I say, it's not like, it is definitely a brown. It can go with cool tone looks as well as brown, like a warm tone looks. It's such a neutral brown. It is a beautiful shade. I constantly go for this product too. In the mascaras department, these are the 2 brands that I constantly reached out for, and I have backups of this. L'Oreal's Lash Paradise Mascara and Omni Lash from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. These were my tippy top favorites. Both of them have like a very similar hourglass bristles, which works beautifully on my lashes to give me length as well as volume, because that's what I am looking for. So those were my eye pencils, eye department area. Let's move on to lips. From the lip liner section, I would highly recommend Unearthly Cosmetics lip liners. I'm wearing the shade Char today. It is such a beautiful brown. I have the shade Cafe also with me, which also I completely like often wear. This has been in my constant rotation. Char is such a beautiful deep brown, which I can pair with any lipstick, and it works so beautifully. Would highly recommend this. Also, Colourpop lip liners. You've heard me rave about Colourpop lip liners. My favorite is BFF3, BFF4, CTRL, BFF2. All the BFF line is amazing. I absolutely love these lip liners. It stays put on my lips for such a long time, and I cannot recommend them enough. The next brand that I want to talk about is Lip Loud liners from NYX Cosmetics. I have so many. That's why I was looking there. I have so many with me, but these 3 are my tippy top favorites from them, which stays on my desk. I have the shade Rebel Kind, Total Baller, and 2 Blessed, all brown lip liners. I'm a big brown lip liner person, so you would definitely see several brown lip liners in my collection. And last, certainly not the least, I am going to recommend this Maybelline Lifter liners. These are so beautiful. Such an amazing formula. It stays put throughout the day. It never budges. I absolutely love it. My favorite shade from them is the shade called Cross the Line. It's like a mauvey, deep, dark brown shade. I love it. Absolutely love this one. So those were my lip liner collection. Now, similar to my blush, I have so many lipsticks. So many lipsticks to recommend. I don't even know. Do I even wear these many lipsticks? I have no idea. But let's start off. From the liquid lipstick category, I would say I have my tippy top favorites here. Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Lip Velvet in the shade Cool Brown. You can see it in application. I absolutely love this formula, and the shade is absolutely kiss-worthy. It blurs out my lips so very well, and this just smooths out any texture on my skin. Would 100% recommend this. This actually was a recommendation from Angelica Nyquist, and I cannot thank her enough. I want every shade in this line. This is a beautiful formula. Okay, let's move on to Ensley Rain. Ensley Rain Cosmetics Lip Velvet. This one is in the shade Bonkers. This came in their Underland collection, I think. This is such a beautiful product. Again, a very velvety, moussey texture, very similar to that ABH liquid velvet, like lip velvet. This is such an amazing formula, and this works out so beautifully with like my cool tone looks, my purpley looks, my mauvey looks. I absolutely love this one too. From Lunar Beauty, this shade Sailor is such a beautiful grayish shade. Oh, I love this to wear like with any neutral look. This is such an amazing shade. Would again highly recommend this. The next brand that I want to recommend is Maybelline, and this has been in my constant rotation. This is the Vinyl Lip. My favorite shades are the shade Cheeky and Punchy. Both of them such a beautiful shade. Punchy is definitely my everyday shade, and Cheeky is like my everyday mauvey shade. I absolutely love this one too. So those were my liquid lipstick recommendations. Let's move on to like a traditional lipstick formula. Would 100% recommend these lipsticks from Jason Wu. If you want me to recommend one product from Jason Wu's line, it is going to be these lipsticks. I absolutely love these hot fluff lipsticks. I have mine in the shade Danish, which is the one that I'm wearing today right now. And then I have the shade which is called Nutmeg Spice, which is like my most used shade, which is more of like a spicy brown shade. And then I also have the shade called Apple Pie, which is more of like a pinky shade. Such an amazing formula. If you like a good matte lipstick that is comfortable, this is going to be your best friend. I absolutely love this. It very much is so smoothing on the lips. Another favorite from my collection, I would say, is the Milani Matte Fetish lipsticks. I absolutely love these lipsticks. I probably have every single shade that they have except the like punchy pinks. They came out with the shade Flushed this year. My favorite from their line definitely is Desire, Tease and Flushed. Really love the formula. You actually cannot go wrong with any of the formula. I actually have so many more. This one is in the shade Smitten. This also came out this year. Yeah, you can see me applying all these products in the video. Just give it a search and you'll definitely find it. Next lipstick formula I absolutely fell in love with this year was from Merit. This Merit's matte lipsticks were amazing. I have two shades with me. I have the shade Equestrian, which is like a deeper, more warmer brown, I would say. And this shade is Maison, which is more of like a mauvey shade. Such a beautiful formula. Again, I am a big matte lipstick person, so you would find a lot of matte lipsticks in my collection, which I absolutely love and adore. I still absolutely love my Natasha Denona lipstick. My favorite are Yana, Sammy, Amorosa, Naya. Those all are my absolute favorite lipstick formulas. And then I have to recommend Huda Beauty lipsticks. The shade Last Night is one of my most used shades in my collection. Look how much is this shade is so pretty, so pretty. Oh, I cannot live without this shade. This shade is absolutely amazing. In the stick format, if you want me to recommend something, I would highly recommend still this Maybelline Ultimate Matte Lipsticks. I have the shade More Mocha, which is my absolute favorite, but I have a lot more in my collection. More Buff, More Mocha, More Truffle. All these are one of my favorite shades. And this from Glaminatrix was also a big hit. This one is in the shade Modest. Such a beautiful everyday shade. Look at this. Such a stunning shade. I love this slim format that Glaminatrix came out with. Absolutely would recommend this. Okay, now let's move on to lipsticks that have like a glowy finish. I specifically have two to mention. One is from Nabla, and this is called Beyond Jelly lipstick, and this one was in the shade Dea. It looks disgusting. Let me swatch it for you guys. It's more like a purpley mauvey shade. The way it performs on my lips is so beautiful. Again, it's like a very jelly consistency. You can build it up or you can wear it sheer. Beautiful formula. And this product was such a hit. This is from Fenty Beauty and this was called Gloss Bomb Sticks, and I love this shade called Spiced Gold. Again, you will see a format of the shades that I like. I love a good pinky brown, and that's exactly what it is. The top one is the Fenty one. Can you see that? That almost looks like a dupe to each other. That's how much I love it. I love it. I absolutely love these lipsticks. Now let's move on to the gloss category. I have 4 brands to mention in the gloss category. Maybelline Lifter Gloss would still absolutely stay in the tippy tops. This one is in the shade Ice, and this is such a beautiful gloss formula. Would definitely recommend this. From Luna Beauty, their glosses are so beautiful. I have mine in the shade Aura, which is my absolute favorite from them. And then Ensley Rain glosses, if you have not tried them, you definitely need to. This is from Lighten Your Eyes collection. Such a yummy formula. It looks like glass on your lips, and I would highly recommend this. And this from Moira Beauty was such a smash hit in my opinion. This one is in the shade Everything Nice. Oh, so pretty. The formula is stunning. All of these like shades are pretty similar to each other. That's what I gravitate towards, and I would highly recommend that. I think finally we are done with the lips category and we can move on to eyes. I am not gonna say which eyeshadow palette is my favorite because you have to come back to see how I'm gonna rank all the eyeshadow palettes that I'm ranking for this year. But I would definitely give you some options in brands which are my absolute favorite from 2024. So in the eyeshadow brands category, I'm quickly gonna run throughout it. Krypton Cosmetics, absolutely love the way how they came out with this year's palettes. This is the Ulta palette. Quickly gonna run over it, okay? This is the Violet Crazy palette, beautiful purple palette. Then we have this palette, Burnt Forest palette. This was their first palette that they ever came out with. Absolutely fell in love with it as soon as it came out. And this is the Atlantis palette, which is the blue palette. 100% would recommend that. Then I also tried Cosmic Beauty this year. This is the Cool Trills palette. Then we have the Neutrals palette, and 'Tis the Season is coming on my way. Of course, by the time you see this video, I would have already filmed everything with that palette. Then I also tried this brand, Singe Beauty, which is a brand from Angelica Nyquist. Such a beautiful palette, Galactic Visitor. Such an amazing palette, would highly recommend that. Is there any other brand? Oh yes. Nomad Cosmetics, I tried this year. Absolutely fell in love with the Polar Express palette as well as the Chicago Speakeasy palette. If you know, you know. I absolutely love these brands. But these are the brands that I tried this year. But there were so many smash hits all throughout Glaminatrix Cosmetics. Look at that, Barely Basic. Then we had Natasha Denona I Need a Warm and Roxa palette. We had Gourmand Girls Gourmandises palette, Nueva Vida palette. Let me show you to you at least. Nueva Vida palette, Gourmandises palette, and my absolute favorite from them, Frozen Kiss palette. Okay, and then let's move on to Ensley Rain Cosmetics. Of course, they had their Underland palette. These are all my tippy tops, okay? Flutter palette, Light in Your Eyes palette, Groovy Garden palette. I also did try Fantasy Cosmetica this year, and we have the Cradled in Ice palette, which is my absolute favorite color story from them. Then Unearthly Cosmetics, how can we forget that? Just a Taste for palette, look at that. And then Gargoyle palette. From Wicked Widow Beauty, we had, oh my gosh, Tales of Terror palette, and we had the Crow palette. From Blend Bunny Cosmetics, I did try Sugar and Grunge this year. Beautiful color story, and the Longing palette. those were my recommendations and my tippy tops from these brands in the eyeshadow palette department. Stay tuned for ranking my eyeshadow palettes for 2024. That's going to be the last video for 2024. I really hope that this video was helpful, was informative for you guys, and you could like see my tippy top favorites from 2024. But that's all for today. If you did like my video, you know what to do. Do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post next. I generally upload 3 videos every single week, every Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.